Okay everyone, I'm teaching the hip hinge in this video, and the hip hinge is one of the most important patterns I teach in physical education to both children and adults. I'm using a health wand to just make 3 points of contact behind my back, because the idea is when you push your hips back into a hip hinge, you do not want to round your back or make it curved forward. Like that is an example of a bad hip hinge, okay? So I want to keep a long spine. I also don't want to shove my knees forward when I go down. The first movement is hips go back. So I want you to watch. The hips go back first, and then the knees go forward a little bit. So that's what I'm demonstrating. I like to use the wand because it's a helpful way to teach people how to keep a long spine. It's just a tool, and it's very helpful to use. Here's another view with my arms in a different position. 3 points of contact: your tailbone, between your shoulder blades, and the back of your head. If you feel the stick or the wand come off the back of your head, you're probably rounding your upper back or leading with your head and shoving your head forward. You don't want to shove your head forward when you do a hip hinge. You want to move your hips back. Now watch the alignment of my feet. They're about shoulder width apart, they're pointed straight forward, and they're parallel. My hips go straight back. My knees stay in the same spot even though they bend a little bit and go forward. They're not collapsing in. So notice how my knees stay over my feet. Now that I've got myself kind of set up, I have a feel for it, I'm going to do it with body weight alone. So here I am doing the hip hinge movement. It's also called the athletic ready position. That's why my hands are up. So I'm cueing my hips to go back first, then my knees will naturally follow, maintaining a long spine. I always teach this with a hands up position because it's good for sports. It's also good for self-defense and martial arts. So I want the hands active, so that's what I'm demonstrating here. Now I'm doing it a little bit quicker. I'm going into a jump drop. It's still the athletic ready position using the hip hinge movement. I'm just demonstrating different ways to do it, different speeds. It's all the same. Hips go back, hands are up, long spine. Hips go back, hands are up, long spine. Hips back, hands up, long spine. Knees track over the feet. See how they don't collapse in. My feet stay flat, and then I can turn and go. You're more able to turn and go quickly when you have a wider base of support and a lower center of gravity, which I just demonstrated. Okay, here's another view, just a little bit closer to the hips so you can see the hips go back first. The knees move naturally forward, but the knees do not go forward first. The hips go back first. And I do not collapse my knees in. They stay tracking over the center of my feet. So that's a super, super important point of the hip hinge. Hips go back first. Maintain your long spine without rounding your upper back. And remember, I like to use the hands up position because it's better for sports and self-defense. There you go.